The following Dysfunctional Gaming podcast was filmed in front of a mostly live Twitch audience.
What's happening, y'all? We're back again with Dysfunctional Gaming's Talking D&D. I hope you are all having a great afternoon. I am Thundercat0420. To my left is GM Patch Nasty, and we are going to be talking about equipment this week. But before we get into that, let's talk about a few other things that we got going on. Patch, talk about Extra Life, please.
Hi. Yes, Extra Life is a thing. We've been doing it. I'll stop being facetious. Extra Life near and dear to everyone's heart, especially ours. We're raising money for Barbara Bush Children's Hospital, which is a member of the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals. They're right up the road, 20 minutes away. We're at insert number here, hoping to get $1,000. To at least get the 12-hour stream. The big goal is $2,300 to make Vandal play wrestling games that he's going to hate and finish completely. And if we hit 22, Thundercat will be beardless and he'll be naked for the winter, which is kind of funny. Talk about Spooptober, Thundercat.
Spooptober is something that we've decided to do a second time. We did one with Dysfunctional Dad as the host. He was the main factor in it last year, but this year Dysfunctional Gaming is producing it, and we have some great streamers this year. We have Snow Angel, and we have Lifted Senses, we have Throg TV, we have Call Me Dara, we have GM Patch Nasty,
hello,
we have our friend Dysfunctional Dad, I think, is doing one hour or two. We have
he's got a block.
We have our special Extra Life hour where we're going to be doing some Extra Life fundraising. So any proceeds that are made on this channel on Dysfunctional Gaming TTV, any proceeds go to Extra Life that day. So any subs, gifts, donations, or bits, any of that stuff will go directly to Extra Life that day. Anything that is done to Dysfunctional Gaming TTV.
Because kids can't wait, and they need a change to their health and their healthing system. That's a word. It's now in part of the dysfunctional lexicon.
Also to add to the Extra Life stuff, if we raise get up to $1,000 by the October 15th, 10 more days, I will do a horror game. I am the biggest wimpy boy you'll ever meet when it comes to horror. So if you want to give me a scare, we need to get to that $1,000 before the 15th, and we'll have Discord decide what game I play, and maybe I will just take one of that extra hour or so during the Spooptober, and I'll jump in and do it in the middle of the night on Sunday morning.
There you go. Like middle of the morning, you'll be waking up at like 4.
Yeah,
just to make sure you can get it
do 2 hours.
The sun's rising.
Yeah, 2 hours of darkness, scary streaming. But I will also do some more streaming of the game. But the Discord will get to choose what game it is.
Yay!
And then there's one other thing we want to promote real quick.
Patreon?
We're gonna do that. We'll do that one later. But
okay.
The War for Garaxia on Friday night, episode 2. Starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. We had a lot of fun on this past Friday. That VOD will be loaded to YouTube, and I'm pretty sure we're going to start a podcast, Anchor FM, with it, and make audio for your ear holes.
All the ear potato stuff. You will enjoy it.
So yeah, check that out. It's still in the VODs right now on Twitch. So if you missed it, you can go back and watch it.
Directly on the YouTube.
On Friday morning.
There. All the clickety-doos in there. Clickety-doos and the doos. The doobly-doo.
Okay. Moving past the promotions and the talking about us
moving
stuff.
on. We're moving on.
We're going to talk about equipment this week. Last week, we talked about dungeon mastering from our dungeon master for the War for Garaxia. We asked him a bunch of questions about what he's going to be having.
We did an interview. That's what we did.
We interviewed our friend Vandal Zero and our dungeon master. So he is, if you want to check that out, we have that on Anchor FM. We have that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcatcher, Spot, Stitcher, all the others that you can think of and listen to. They're all on that. And it's also a VOD uploaded on YouTube. Although the Discord call was kind of laggy here and there, all the audio sounds great.
Yeah, clickety-doos and the linkety-doos in the doobly-doo that I posted in the chiddly-doo. I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep saying Flandery type stuff.
Well, I need you to talk about equipment, and you can do it in the Flandery.
Oh, the doobly-doos? I can certainly talk about doobly-doos. Flandery, yep.
Flandery type
way.
Talking. You can talk like that if you'd like, but we're going to talk about equipment today.
Do.
Hacks
we're
and
talk
tools.
About your stuff.
Yeah. So,
get my handy dandy notebook.
I say, tell me a little bit about equipment.
So, I mean, equipment. There's a big part of it, but the thing is we've covered weapons, we've covered armor, but you're only as creative as a player as you are is with your equipment, because if you look at page 150 in your player's handbook, there's a big table of stuff that you can buy that doesn't have sharp, pointy edges that does a D12 worth of damage. There are also things that have bunches of these things, like the packs on page 151 that has a bunch of these things. There's a lot when it comes to equipment and adventuring gear. But there's also on page 154, you've got tools. These, I would like to say, so adventuring gear is creativity for an adventurer to kind of manipulate the way things are done in a setting with a simple tool, a simple piece of adventuring gear. A tool, on the other hand, is a way to alleviate an adventurer's resources, i.e. gold or silver, into a way of making more of that by using their downtime, like proficiencies in your jeweler's kit, or hell, even an herbalism kit to make a potion of healing would take some downtime, but that would also save you time on buying potions of healing.
There's some other cool things that really go with those toolkits as well. If you're proficient in, say, the Thieves tool. Wow. An aggressive vehicle, sir.
He was doing a drag race. It's okay. I get it.
Yeah, it works. It happens every night. Yeah. So if you have proficiency in Thieves tools, we'll say, you can use those Thieves tools in different ways. You don't necessarily need to be always breaking into someone's house with them. There's actually game rules that help with the proficiency. So if you have proficiency in Thieves tools, you also can do a history check pertaining with those Thieves tools to use your knowledge of traps to grant you insight when answering questions about locations that are renowned for their traps. So, like
Xanathar?
It's all from I think is it Xanathar's? Yeah, it's Xanathar's.
It's not in the player's handbook.
No, I'm using the dungeon. I'm using the Fight Club app right now. Because they actually have all that stuff. It's written somewhere in one of the D&D books. I know that. I think it is Xanathar's.
I'm pretty sure it's Xanathar's.
You can also use it for your investigation or perception. You gain additional insight when looking for traps because you have learned a variety of common signs that betray their presence. So, like, you can use, instead of just being like, I am proficient in Thieves tools, I'd like to unlock that door. You can say, before we go any further, do I see any traps, and can I use my history to help me gain that? What's that?
I'm reading Xanathar's right now. I quickly scrolled. I'm just looking at the advanced ones. So, like, your brewer's supplies. Not only does beer serve as an alcoholic beverage, crafting beer takes weeks of fermenting. So, yeah, in Xanathar, you can append the supplies and they give you different things to do. I forgot to read this.
So, like, if I look at the cartographer's tools. Your arcana, history, and religion. You can use your knowledge of maps and locations to unearth more detailed information when you use these skills. For instance, you might spot hidden messages in a map, identify when the map was made, or to determine if geographical features have changed since then, and so forth. There's nature. Your familiarity with physical geography makes it easier for you to answer questions or solve issues relating to terrain around you. Like that, like those little, just having those little extra, being able to use it for your proficiency because you're proficient in it is nice, I think.
History for the cook's utensils. Your knowledge of cooking techniques allows you to assess the social patterns involved in culture's eating habits. That is super. That's clever. That's very, very clever.
Super cool, right?
Medicine. Yeah, it's little tiny touches. So gaming sets, history, insight, sleight of hand. I already did sleight of hand with gaming sets. They're nice. So I mean, it all depends on, it's, as I kind of alluded to, it's really down to your creativity. Is what it boils down to. Is how creative of a player you can be with what's given to you, and what the DM will go, sure, let's see how you have 10 hours to do on this glass blowing until you have something interesting, and you could potentially sell it for money. But or you're proficient in glass blowing tools, so you'll know like how much work was put into that little tiny crystal dragon, if it's worth the 500 gold pieces, or if it's actually junk and it's worth like 2, if that. It's kind of clever.
Yep, it's pretty clever. Definitely. So do we want to just start from the top and kind of go through the packs, and like that's how we go here, right?
I was gonna go into what each individual thing on the adventuring gear did, because I read all of them and they're super, like, they're easy to surmise. I mean,
most of the stuff you already probably know what they do just because of hearing what it is. But yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you've got acid as an action. You can splash the contents on the vial within a creature 5 feet of you, or throw it up to 20 feet. In either case, make a range attack against a creature or object. Treating the acid as an improvised weapon. It takes 2d6 worth of acid damage. Super quick and easy. If you have a vial of acid, you can splash it in someone's face and turn them into Two-Face, potentially. Alchemist Fire is along the same lines. It's an adhesive fluid, and it's sticky, and it ignites when it's exposed to air. You can only throw it up to 20 feet. Make a range attack against a creature or an object, treating it as an improvised weapon. On a hit, the target takes 1d4 fire damage at the start of its turns. A creature can end this damage using its action to make a DC 10 Dex check to extinguish the flames. So, potentially, Alchemist Fire is essentially napalm for objects, and an easy way for a player to waste an enemy's turn taking their action to put themselves out.
The next one is Antitoxin. A creature that drinks this vial of liquid gains advantage on saving throws against poison for 1 hour. It confers no benefit to undead or constructs. I have a question about that for you as a DM. Would you say, like, if I went to a store and bought Antitoxin and I had a friend that was poisoned already?
No.
You wouldn't allow that to remove the poison?
Nope. No.
See, I think that's a silly way to. I think they could add that and make it like not. They don't. It could be like at the DM's discretion. They could add that. You know what I mean?
Yes, but my issue is I treat it like you don't get a flu shot when you have the flu. If you already have the flu, you take orange juice and try and feel better. So instead of taking antitoxin, you take an antidote. Maybe they'll have an antidote to cure your poison, but there's no antidote in here. Gotcha. Antitoxin is like sunscreen. You're like that's the thing. Like if you're already poisoned, sunscreen on top of the sunburn is not going to help.
Unless there's aloe in it.
Unless there's aloe in it. Yes, absolutely.
You don't know if we've been sunburned before, right?
Well, as soon as you said I have a question, I was like, I know what he's gonna ask me. He's gonna ask me if he's poisoned. I'm gonna no.
Hey, sometimes you can ask a DM and they'll say sure too. So you never know.
Yeah, I'm not that DM.
I like to ask questions that are not necessarily in the book. So, arcane focus. We've talked about an arcane focus before, but it's basically the tool that you use to cast your spells out of instead of using components.
Something designed to channel the power of magic. So I mean, once again, creativity. Make it a little bit ornate, just so because it has that gold expense of what is it? Arcane focus can be up to 20 gold if it's an orb. But I mean, an orb could be like this big, and you put it on like a ring or something. It's
right.
Be creative.
Unless you're holding like.
Now we're getting into the fun ones. This is where
ball
creativity
bearings. Tell me about them.
Yeah. So as an action, you dump them, and then it turns into Home Alone hijinks, and any creature that moves across so it's 10 feet on a square. Any creature that walks across it needs to make a dex save or falls on the rest. A creature moving half speed doesn't have to do this, but it's the little pratfall bump. It's a part of the Burglars Pack. Thank you.
Yep.
It's one of those things that you can be super creative with and like hide it underneath a mat. Like go into a store. If you have a group of murder hobos, go into the store, put it underneath the welcome mat, put a whole bunch of ball bearings. So when the guards come in, they pratfall, and then murder the shopkeep, take all the stuff, and then run out the back door. I don't know why I went murder hobo, but that's where I went.
That's where I went. The block and tackle, a set of pulleys with a cable threaded through them and a hook to attach to objects. The block and tackle allows you to hoist up to 4 times the weight you can normally lift.
Or as I like to call that, a trap maker.
Yeah, we've never ever used a block and tackle in any of the games I've ever played or DM'd.
I've used it like 3 times.
I think I remember I don't know who it was. I think one person might have bought one, but we never used it.
That was me. I don't know why I bought it.
It's just like just kind of like at that point, like you would buy it specifically for something. I think you wouldn't just buy it. Well, no, not necessarily. What if like we get to a cliff face and we can scale it ourselves, but we have our horses and we need our horses to get up there. Scale up, put your block and tackle up, and then lift your horses up to the top through the block and tackle. And then you guys can move on from the cliff because, you know what I mean? Like,
I do, but you know my opinion on horses in D&D.
So I know that's your opinion on horses is the same as my opinion on horses in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I make them really expensive. I make them really expensive, so you think about, damn. These horses are important because they're expensive. Like,
walk or get a cab, get a caravan.
Or okay, so say the same thing. Like, okay, we just destroyed this dungeon. Like, we got through the whole thing. We have this big, fucking heavy ass chest of gold and whatever to take back with us. But we had to take a rope down the well to get to the dungeon. Set up the block and tackle so we can hoist this fucking big ass treasure chest up to the top of the well.
It'd be one of those things that you'd put in your bag of holding and forget about.
Yeah, but it's just it's one of what like I said, I've never seen it used because normally at that point it's like, no, you guys can just carry the treasure chest. Don't worry about it. Like. Unless you want to get that immersive at that point, it's like, if I want to make you do skill checks, like
I had an evil campaign, not the one that we played. I did a small little one for some people, and they got really creative with the block and tackle. It was an encouraging way of getting information out of someone. I could put it that way, because they used 2 of them and a horse. Yep. Yeah. You just realized what happened, huh? Yep.
All right, let's move on.
Next, a book. It's a book. It's not a spell book. Otherwise, you would have bought a spell book. It might have stuff in it. Who knows? It will probably have a title on the outside. It's a book.
I love how the cost of a book is 25 gold pieces.
Well, yeah.
That's expensive.
Uh-huh. Well, as it says, it may have historical accounts, poetry. You never know what could have in it.
I'm going to start. Anytime someone wants to buy... I mean, think of what Clementine's fucking bringing in.
Yep. Smut.
But she's selling 25 gold pieces. That's fucking money. We're in the wrong business. Let's sell books. Instead of going adventuring and putting our lives on the line, we just go sell books.
This week on Scholastic Press.
Fuck.
Fucking Christ. Get out of here with that. Let's make books.
Think about it. 25 gold. You make 4 books in a week. There's 100 gold pieces. You could basically own the town in a month. You could run the town in a month.
You're forgetting the cost it takes to, 1, mentally write said smutty story to put in that book, the actual amount of paper to produce a book, and then 3, that's probably a published book selling for high price. This is like Clementine is trying to sell comics at a fucking comic book convention out of her trunk, as opposed to Marvel, who's got a pretty booth that's selling them for $60 a pop. You know? Like, that's an encouraged. That's just a bar. If it has pertaining information, it's 25 gold.
Remember, you can break economies in D&D with like 100 gold pieces. Like,
yep. It don't take much. What should we got next?
Caltrops, your second
Yay!
Home Alone thing, or third Home Alone thing, I guess. As an action, you can spread a bag of caltrops, basically Legos and glass. Any creature that enters the area must succeed on a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, or stop moving its turn to take 1 piercing damage. Taking this damage reduces the creature's walking speed by 10 feet until the creature regains at least 1 hit point. A creature moving through the area at half speed doesn't need to make the save. That last part's pretty cool. I need to eat. Give me one of those stupid berries that you have, Druid. I'm not walking fast enough.
For the Home Alone traps, you can just kind of like walk slowly through them, and you're perfectly fine.
Yep.
All right, I got this next one. You ready? It's a candle. You light it, and it sheds red light in a 5-foot radius and dim light in another 5-foot radius, and that lasts an hour. Hooray, candles.
All right, I got one.
Okay.
Case of crossbow bolts. It's a wooden case that holds up to 20 crossbow bolts.
Oh, is that any different from the case for a map or scroll? The cylindrical leather case that can hold up to 10 rolled up sheets of paper or 5 rolled up sheets of parchment.
It is different, yes, but it's still a case.
Yeah, it's still a case, nonetheless. It's made of leather as opposed to wood.
And then we know about we should all know about this one, the chain.
See, this is where I have questions for you.
A chain has 10 hit points. It can be burst with a successful DC 20 strength check.
Okay. As a DM, would you make your players track the HP on that chain, or would you do it secretly? And then as it kind of gets weaker, that 20 DC to break out, isn't there no more. Like if they take out their chain, you can see it looks a little dinged up, a little rusted, a little like it's kind of like janky and sticks in places. And that's you describing, hey, you might need a new chain. And then they chain somebody up, and that person just flexes out simply, and they bust out.
Oh, I don't think I would even use this like stuff, and it would be all on like one roll. It would just be a roll.
All right, fair enough.
No, I mean, unless they get like a chain that's like one of these friggin' monster truck chains that like you chain your friggin' tractor down. Those things are friggin'
chain.
I know, but the chain maker might have been really cheap and used like cheap metal. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't know
gold pieces though.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of metal is being used. Like you don't know who created the chain itself. Like that could be a big.
Unless you're a dwarf.
Right.
And I'll give you that.
No, unless you're a blacksmith.
There you go.
Or
a gnome. You could be a tinkerer.
Yeah, well, you have to have proficiency in blacksmith tools or tinker's tools to be able to check that.
There you go. I mean, there's ways around it. I mean, they're really all simple. Like your climber's kit, you can use pitons, boot tips, and gloves, and a harness to climb. You can only go 25 feet at a time because you have an anchor to yourself, so you can only fall 25 feet. You only go up 25 feet until you move an anchor. It's simple stuff, but it makes climbing a mountain so much easier than making athletics checks. And if you fall, you don't fall far, hopefully.
The component pouch is the opposite of the arcane focus. You actually use the components. You buy the pouch. It has all the components for all of the spells that you need. And some of those components will be consumed if you don't replace them.
So the ones that have a specific cost are not in the components pouch.
Right.
Those ones do not come in, like your copper pot, your incense to get your fine familiar, your I would say the pearl for identify.
So in my head is if as a level 1 character, you take a components pouch, you have all the components for every spell you need right away to start. Instead of going to buy the ivory and all that stuff, I'd be like, nope, don't worry about it. You have it, whatever. Level 1.
What happens if you have the familiar already? You wouldn't have that stuff, correct?
What do you mean?
Because the stuff for like find familiar is consumed.
Oh, no, I get it. So, no, what would happen is you would have all the stuff in your components pouch to start. Then once you used Find Familiar, that stuff would be gone out of your component pouch, and then you'd have to replace it. So that's how I would do it as a DM. Like, you start with all the stuff you need for your level, whatever level you're in, because it would be silly to be like, oh, I'm going to take Find Familiar at level... Was it level 1 spell?
Yep.
So it would be like, why would I take that if I'm going to have to go buy more components to start the game? Do you know what I mean, though? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just gonna don't worry about it. You guys, you have all the components you need that are consumed, and then once you use the components, then you'd have to replace them.
Certain ones I would agree with you with, and there are ones, because I played a lot of high level spellcasters. I think you have too. And
but
like
starting at level 1,
right,
or level 3, like I'd be like, no, you have that stuff to start. And then once you cast the spell, it's gone.
Yeah,
and you have to start. Then you have to start replacing it.
Like starting at, let's say, I don't know, 17, starting that high. Maybe you're doing that. Like, would you give people like the jade circlet to do? Because I know that's not consumed. That's
I would. There. I don't. Yeah, honestly, to start the game, it'd be silly to be like, oh, no, you don't have all this stuff, so you have to roleplay with me going to the store and buying all this stuff so you can cast your spell that you set up for this character. Like, I feel like at that point, it gets... I think if you're going to play a full campaign, then not a big deal. But if you're playing at level 17, like...
Unless I wanted them to RP with the like, if I had a funny voice that I wanted to do, and then I would give them the gold for like Heroes Feast or something, and that's how, like, you don't have the chalice, but you have everything else. You just need the chalice. You have to go to this place to get.
That's kind of different. I mean, like,
yeah,
if you need ivory or something that gets consumed, it'd be like, no, you already have the jade in your pocket. Like, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you're level 17. I'm sure you would be smart enough to go get the stuff you need for your spells.
Right.
Like, that's how I see
at
that.
level 17, I'd be like, I'm smart enough to know not to have components and just have a fucking focus, because I don't want to have to pull out a piece of Arabic gum to cast slow, or a sticky bit of piece of molasses or tar. Got a crowbar. Hey, yo, you can open stuff with advantage. It gives you advantage on strength checks when using it for leverage to open things. It's a crowbar. I would let you use it as an improvised weapon to go bonk people with. Or stab.
Druidic focus. A druidic focus might be a sprig or mistletoe or holly, a wand or scepter made of yew, or another special wood, a staff drawn whole out of a living tree, or a totem object incorporating feathers, fur, bones, and the teeth from sacred animals. A druid can use such an object as a spellcasting focus, as described in Chapter 10.
So, when I play like a wizard or a druid and I want to use a focus, I think of this is an easy way to describe it. So wizards would probably get more of like the higher end stuff, like that looks super cool from like Amazon, that like the fucking crystal ball, that like that. The druidic focuses would be like kind of the more homier looking, not homier, more of the home touched, like things you'd get on Etsy that have like more significance, more personalization, like that are, more intimate, I think is the word I'm looking for. Intimate, as opposed to like mass produced like crystals with dragons and shit, like anything you'd find in like a Spencer's Gifts at a mall, if they still exist. I'm curious. Now I gotta go look and see if Spencer Gifts exists. Go on. What's the next item?
Fishing tackle.
See, I wasn't gonna say that one.
This kit includes a wooden rod, silken line, cork wood, bobbers, steel hooks, lead sinkers, which is not good for the the water. Those actually, it's got to be platinum from now on. Platinum sinkers. Sorry guys, no more lead.
Yep.
Velvet lures. Velvet lures. Who's fishing with velvet?
Man. Fucking people in Waterdeep.
What the fuck? And narrow netting. Okay, I get the netting.
Yeah, netting. That's like fishing tackle. It's a fishing tackle. The only thing it doesn't give you is bait. It gives you a lure.
No, you got lures.
Yeah, fuck that. I'd use bait.
Velvet lures.
Stick my toe in the water. The problem is with fishing in D&D, you'll catch one fish and then something else that eats that fish is gonna get mad at you and then try to eat you. That's why I don't like fishing in D&D. There's a chain of command in the sea, and I'm not at the top of it.
Once again, it's like fishing, buying a fishing pole, and like going fishing in dungeons. It's like, I'm gonna go get a fish for myself. Good luck, guys. Fishing's tough. You're not gonna catch fish all the time. So if I'm DMing, I've fished for a long time. You don't catch fish every time you go fishing. Unless you have, like you said, live bait.
Yep.
So, just
that little halfling, put him in a sack and throw him in the pond.
Yeah, right. Just remember, like, your DM's gonna be like, "You really want to go fishing right now? All right, like,
sure.
roll me a d20. Yes, you caught a fish. Great. All right, you bring a fish back to the camp. It's good enough to feed one person. Everyone's gonna be like, "Nah, you got one fish, you asshole."
Yeah, you got a sandwich. I mean, you could potentially do some Aesop fables type of shit with like that one player who just wants to go fishing and then have him catch like a talking fish with a rainbow sparkles and
you could really go crazy with it if you want. Wish. Make it an encounter when someone buys a fishing pole in your campaign. Like, just be like, "All right, yeah, sure, you're gonna go
tell
fish."
You about the story. like if someone's buying a fishing tackle and you have never fished, you need to just go to YouTube and find crazy fish stories and just make up a whopper to tell your players.
That was in what, Family Guy, right? Wasn't that the Family Guy
Sure
one?
was.
The Legend of whatever. Oh my god.
There's probably there's a whole bunch of them.
I think there's a Simpsons one too.
There's the Simpsons. There's Simpsons with Blinky the Three-Eyed Fish.
Yeah,
There's
just do a yeah. That's so
grumpy old
good.
man with the big
That's
giant
so
fish.
good. That's so good. A fishing story. Oh, let me tell you about Bertha, who lives out in the river.
2 would buy in. 2 would certainly buy in. Right now, I'm telling you,
Oh, what
if
a feisty woman she was. She just ripped that line right out of my hands.
I would look down at my gloves and be like, I would like to see this happen.
This could not be ripped out of my hands.
Let's do this. Yeah, no, that would be fun. I already want to write that now.
Yep, turn it into
moving-
a big, or you cast into the water and like the bobber, like the line just goes tink 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 across the water, and you're like, hold on a second.
What's going on?
You could make anything up. You could just do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's D&D. Have fun with it. Healer's kits. I'm sorry. So this is a very useful item if you don't have a healer in your party, because this prevents people from dying. Once you pass level 3, that's when you start getting attached to characters. And this makes it so if someone's at 0 hit points, you can stabilize them without doing a medicine check. I would like to use my healer's kit and stabilize this person so they don't have to make a new character and cry in the shower as they take a shower that night to get out of character. But it contains bandages, salves, and splints. So, I mean, get creative. If you've ever seen ER or House, make some shit up. But the important thing is this is useful.
There's also a feat that goes along with the healer's kit that you can take that will give, instead of giving them stabilizing them, you give them an HP.
Let's take a peek. I want to look at the medicines kit. Where is it? Oh, it's not even in here. Wait a minute here. Wait, what? No, it's an item. That's why it's not a tool. Is it in character options? You keep looking.
I'm going to
This
the
is
feats.
your life.
The feat is called Healer. When you use a healer's kit to stabilize a dying creature, the creature also regains 1 hit point. It's from the regular handbook.
Oh yeah, that's
167.
right.
As an action, you can spend one use of your healer's kit to tend to a creature and restore 1d6 plus 4 hit points to it, plus additional hit points equal to the creature's maximum number of hit dice.
I forgot that it has 10 uses. I apologize.
The creature can't regain hit points from this feat again until it finishes a short or long rest. But that's a lot of HP.
It's especially at a low level. That can potentially chain some shit right there.
So if you're a human, you could use that as the variant feat and be the human cleric, and then
you're a medic.
Yeah, that's dope.
My family comes from a long line of frontline war medics. So we are.
My dad taught me everything I know.
That's honestly, you can tell a lot. You can tell a backstory with a feat. If you're a human variant, boom, there's your backstory. Why do you have that feat? Oh, well, I come from the south and we're, adept to warmer climates. That's why I'm naturally resistant to fire damage and hot temperatures don't bother me.
Right.
Healer's kit, not healer's kit, holy symbol. So the religious version of your arcane focus or your druidic focus, it represents your god, your pantheon, whomever you follow. You can put it in something like an emblem or a shield, a tiny box holding a fragment or a sacred relic. There's an appendice in the player's handbook that has different symbols according to gods of the multiverse. You can use it as a spellcasting focus, like a arcane focus or a druidic focus, but the caster must hold it in his hand, wear it visibly, or bear it on a shield. That has to happen. You cannot hide it. In order to use it as an arcane focus, it needs to be present. It needs to be visible. I cannot stress that enough. So there is your clerics or your paladins cannot try to conceally cast things. DMs, remember this. This is something that I've forgotten before. And I'll go, wait, you can't do that because you have to show your god. Show your hand, sir. Do it. Anyway.
Holy water. As an action, you can splash the contents of this flask onto a creature within 5 feet of you, or throw it up to 20 feet, shattering it on impact. In either case, make a ranged attack against a target creature, treating the holy water as an improvised weapon. If the target is a fiend or undead, it takes 2d6 radiant damage. A cleric or paladin.
Undead.
What's that? Oh, yeah. It doesn't say that. It doesn't work if it's not anything else.
They just get moist.
They're just holy watered. A cleric or paladin may create holy water by performing a special ritual. The ritual takes 1 hour to perform, uses 25 gold pieces worth of powdered silver, and requires a caster to expend a first level spell slot. That's like exhausting.
I have a question. So I watch a lot of Supernatural, and I like that. However, I would ask, instead of doing like 2d6 radiant damage, if you were to be, I don't know, some sort of blood hunter in Ravenloft, and very, very aware of your situation, could you like simply just splash a little bit and see like a sizzle or like some smoke to know you're in some shit? And then... That's up to you. That's a DM.
I'd allow it, but at the same time, you'd lose, like, it'd be a D6 and a D4 at that point.
Yeah.
Instead of 2D6. You know what I mean? Like, every time you splash it, it loses 2.
Honestly, I don't even care about like doing damage. Like knowing that this thing that looks like a human, and I go, and I throw like a splash of water and I see it like sizzle up, I immediately know this thing might murder me and eat me. So having that is super handy. Yep. Once again, that's using TV to be creative. Welcome to YouTube. Hunting traps. These are interesting. These make getting food for the party at night an encounter. You can set it with an action. It snaps on a foot. It's got a pressure plate in the center. It's like a bear trap. The trap is affixed by a heavy chain to a mobile object, such as a tree or a spike, driven into the ground. Anything that steps in it makes a DC 13 dex save, and must succeed on that or take 1d4 piercing damage, and you stop moving. You cannot move. You are then, as long as the chain is, that is your movement. You have X amount of movement to let's say a 3-foot radius, because diameter is the whole way across. So you can go from wherever it's anchored that far. You can try to break free with a DC 13 strength check. If you fail, you take a piercing damage. You do not free yourself, and you take 1 more piercing damage. It's a good ambush tactic if you know where things are going to be, because then you can easily take something out of an action equation. Now we're getting back into the boring stuff.
The lamp. A lamp casts bright light in a 15-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30. Once lit, it burns for 6 hours on a flask, 1 point of oil.
It's a big candle.
All right, another big candle. A lantern, a bullseye lantern. A bullseye lantern casts bright light in a 60-foot cone and dim light for an additional 60 feet. Once lit, it burns for 6 hours to a flask. On a flask, 1 point of oil. And then on to another candle. Hooded lantern. A hooded lantern casts bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet. Once lit, it burns for 6 hours on a flask, 1 pint of oil. As an action, you can lower the hood, reducing the light to dim light in a 5-foot radius.
That's lanterns. I would say, would you treat it as an improvised weapon if someone were to throw a lantern at someone and try to catch them on fire?
Yes.
Or something.
100%.
Cool. DC like 12 to put yourself out, something like that. Stop, drop, and roll. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's another one of those improvised things. You'd kind of look at your chart behind your DM screen and then figure some shit out. Players always get creative with things that don't have a damage die, because as DMs, we'll put a damage die to it real quick.
You might see like you might be in a room with one of the bad guys, and he's doing the whole monologue. You've run your last race. I'm going to rip you apart. And you look over and you see that the lantern's just kind of sitting on the desk, and you're like,
huh.
This room's all made of wood, and there's some really nice draperies on the... I would like to push that lantern on the ground while this guy's having his monologue and destroy his beautiful room and make them all mad at us, even worse. But like,
yes, Mr. Tabaxi, as long as you do it with your tail.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do. I like that type of shit. Locks. They give you a key when you buy one. Neat. You can lock things. It's a padlock. If your DM's nice, he might make better ones that don't have a DC 15 Dex check to unlock them. It's player suits a need. If you got manacles, that helps even better. Or chain. Chain and a lock is always a good tool. The next one is another favorite of mine, the magnifying glass, because you can start a fire with it and you can use it as it's properly intended.
Burning ants.
In the player's handbook, you don't have to. Yes, burning hands.
No, burning ants. Ants.
Oh, burning ants? No, like reading
that's how it's supposed to be. Oh, gotcha.
Yes, no. I understand, Thundercat. We are DMs.
It wasn't the 11-year-old. It's not the 11-year-old reason to get a magnifying glass.
So you can light a fire up with it as bright as the sunlight. To focus it, you need tinder, and it takes at least 5 minutes to set the fire. Or you can give yourself advantage on any ability check to appraise or inspect an item. Or something with small and tiny details like maps or diamonds or things like that.
I need to buy one of these.
Yeah. You're looking at your character sheet as we go through our adventuring gear?
I have to write down buy my magnifying glass.
All right. Do you want to talk about Two's favorite adventuring gear, or do you want me to talk about Two's favorite adventuring gear?
Since it's Two's favorite, go for it, Two.
Yes. There are manticles. They are restraints that can bite a small or medium creature. I like to call them, I'm done with dealing with you. Escaping the manacles requires a successful DC 20 Dex check. Breaking them requires a successful DC 20 Strength check. It comes with a key. Without a key, a creature proficient with Thieves Tools can pick the lock with a successful DC 15 Dex save, or Dex check. The manacles have 15 HP. I love manticles because you just slap them on someone and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the same time, once again, like you said, maybe you can ask your DM to make, if you could find someone that makes manticles themselves, and see if you can get better made ones for higher level type stuff.
Or look at some magic items called the Bands of Bolero or something like those, because those are
exactly
dope.
This was Tacklin's favorite thing, the mess kit.
It sure was. That's why it says the manacles.
This tin box contains a cup and simple cutlery. The box clamps together, and one side can be used as a cooking pan, and the other side as a plate or shallow bowl. Like the coolest little
soldiers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a TV tray.
Yep.
It's a TV tray with a cooker.
We've talked about oil a little bit with the lamp, the lantern, and the lantern.
Yep, you can set it on fire. That is a thing you can do. If someone is covered in oil, you can set them on fire and they will ignite. That's fun. You can also put it on the ground and light it on fire as well. I would also do the same thing as the grease spell, where if you run across it, you might fall. I'm a big fan of, cartoony shit happening in D&D. That happens. Oil, it comes in clay, and it's a pint, so that way it burns for 6 hours when you apply it to one of the various lanterns in the
game. Basic poison. You can use the poison in this vial to coat one slashing or piercing weapon, or up to 3 pieces of ammunition. Applying this poison takes an action. A creature hit with the poisoned weapon or ammunition must make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, or take 1d4 poison damage. Once applied, the poison remains potent for 1 minute before drying.
Yep. It's a combat encounter. It's a nice little quick dip before you go into combat, and then shink, 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 or apply it to arrows. It's once again situationally very useful, and sometimes it can just backfire if things are immune to poison, like undead. We talked about potions in a few episodes ago, but it talks about potions of healing, and it shows that in the adventuring gear, a potion of healing is 50 gold pieces. 50 gold. So a book is half the price of a potion of healing. To put that in perspective, going back to an earlier rant, it regains 2d4 plus 2 HP. That does not change unless you have a creative DM, and it gives you cheap potions that do other weird shit. Next to that, there's another one. It's a pouch. You can hold sling bullets or blowgun needles in them, among other things. It is not a component pouch. It is far cheaper and does not hold as much weird, cool stuff. It could hold some weird, cool stuff, but not as cool as magic cool stuff.
No.
All right, back into the boring stuff.
Quiver. A quiver can hold up to 20 arrows. You can hold 20 arrows in your quiver.
Yep.
This is a fun one, the portable ram. You can use a portable ram to break down doors. When doing so, you gain a +4 bonus on the strength check. One other character can help you use the ram, giving you advantage on the check. So you're basically the SWAT team.
For all you characters who have low strength bonuses and want to kick in doors, ask a friend to help and bring a ram.
But remember, they weigh 35 pounds.
Yep.
That's almost as much as I weigh, halfling.
That's more than Tomo weighs, my little Pandursaran warlock.
Yep.
That's probably as big as Tomo.
Rations. Rations consist of dry food suitable for extended travel, including jerky, dried fruit, hardtack, and nuts. I think in games that need rations, like the Tomb, and different aspects of the games can really work with having rations as part of the DM style. Some campaigns aren't really needed, but I would expect in my games, like, rations last you a day. So if you have 20 rations, that's 20 days worth of food.
Yep.
You can. Some people think rations are a 3-a-day thing, but I don't think they are.
No. I mean, it's jerky. It's basically you're eating hiking food. That's what it is.
Throughout the day, you're just slowly snacking on stuff, is how I see it.
All right, what are you going to use all this fucking rope for? So you got rope. Every adventurer should have rope. You should do it. You should buy it. It's only a gold, depending on which one you buy. Rope, whether made of hemp or silk, has 2 hit points and can be burst with a DC 17 strength check. However, it comes in 50 feet. You should always get fucking rope, because you can... Your creativity is tied to your adventuring gear. I will say it at great length. You got merchant scale. A scale that includes a small balance, pans, and suitable assortment of weights up to 2 pounds. With it, you can measure the exact weight of small objects, such as raw precious metals or trade goods, to help determine their worth. I assume Little Moash had a merchant scale, didn't he?
100%. You need a gram, sir? You need a gram? Here you go.
Once again, that's another little item. Like, if it's a trinket they have, like, they could theme it. Like, it could be like this little person holding the scales, and that's what it is, and the thing in the middle. Creativity. Like, little things like that go a long way with a DM like me, because I'm like, all right, I can reward that, and I can work elements into that. This is an item that I will always skin the cover how they want to, but it will always have the same thing on the inside. A spellbook is a leather-bound tome with 100 blank vellum pages suitable for recording spells. There's a reason for that. In the spellcasting chapter, every spell per level is a page. So if you have 6 level 1 spells, that's 6 pages of your spellbook. That's not that bad, but once you start getting into like level 5 and you've got like 4 of them, that's 20 pages. That's a fifth of your book. And then you toss in another 6 level spells, that's a quarter of your book right there. It starts to add up. I've never had a wizard I've had to get a second spellbook for. I've always acquired different spellbooks and then kind of rotate them out.
I've grabbed a second spellbook because I was afraid that someone was going to steal my first one.
Yep. Been there.
Hi, Wing.
You.
You look good too from here.
Always. All the time, always. Spyglass. Objects viewed through the spyglass are double their size and closer than they appear. No. I mean, it's spyglass. It's fucking
like actual what in the fuck?
Yeah, you can look at things from a distance, like Hercules. Except you're not going the distance, you're just looking from a distance.
I'm trying to see. Hold on. So, I'm like, you confused me on the spellbook for a second.
What? So a 9th level spell is 9 pages.
Find a wizard spell at first level or higher. You can add to your spellbook if it's spell level. You can prepare. I don't see that.
Hang on.
I think it's 1 spell per page.
Well, I apologize. It was the minute thing that I might have gotten confused with, because that's when it comes to preparing.
That's the minutes. Yep. That's the yes.
Casting spell. Components.
Son. I can't say that.
I'm looking now.
Shoot.
Keep going.
Man. Can't top the Aztecs are going. We gonna end this. Mexican standoff. Thank you for the host, Wing. I'm gonna move on to the next one while you look that up because I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It confused me, and now I need to know. Look, spyglass tent. A simple portable canvas shelter. A tent sleeps 2.
Neat. Yeah, I don't know. I might have just made that up. Anyway.
I mean, as a DM, that's a cool rule. Like that's a cool homebrew. That's a cool homebrew rule. Like make it.
It makes your spellbook worth more. Like this is what I have to me. Yeah, I know. You just say things with determination behind it, and people just believe you.
They start believing it right away.
I could be president that way.
A tinderbox. The small container holds flint, fire, steel, and tinder, usually dry cloth soaked in light oil, used to kindle a fire. Using it to light a torch or anything else with abundant exposed fuel takes an action. Lighting any other fire takes 1 minute.
So how much oil do you get?
1 pint.
Okay. All right. All right. So
and it comes in a clay flask. It's in a clay flask.
So to round it all off, if you don't have a candle or one of the 4 different types of lanterns and lamps or a tinderbox, you can grab a stick or a torch, which burns for an hour, providing bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light in another 20-foot radius. If you make a melee attack and with a burning torch and hit, it deals 1 fire damage, though.
Okay, question.
Answer.
You have to buy the torch, or could you create one? Could I say that I grab a large piece of wood from the forest that's big enough that I could wrap some old rags around, dip the rags into my clay pot of flask of oil, and then light it up with my tinderbox. Would you say I have a torch at that point?
Make a survival check, and then say, yeah, you certainly have a torch. I can't deny you of having a torch, but the question is that wood certainly super dry, and then you might have a burning log in your hand?
Yeah, who knows? I'm just wondering if there's a way that I could just do that.
Yeah, I would allow it, but
at the point, a copper piece is really not that much to like.
And
they
sell them in packs of 10.
Yeah,
you can buy
packs of 10. You just gotta wear a quiver of fucking torches.
Well, yeah. Well, fucking no. It comes in a fucking tube. You get so. If you don't want to buy torches or things individually, there are equipment packs that come with certain things from the adventuring gear.
True,
before we even get into tools,
has 10 torches in it.
Most every pack has torches or ways to start a fire so you're not cold and die. The burglar's pack, you get ball bearings, a backpack, string, a bell, candles, crowbar, a hammer, pitons, 10 of them, a hooded lantern, 2 flasks of oil, 5 days of rations, a tinderbox, and a water skin. It also has
We're not done
50
yet.
feet of rope. Oh, we are?
We have 3 more to do.
Well, we still have 3 more to do. What do you mean? Torch? And then it goes right to tools.
The vial, the water skin, and the...
Mine goes right to tools.
Hold on. Why is it that stops at... if you look at the adventuring gear table...
Yeah.
It says torch.
So, yep, and then it goes into your vial, your water skin, your whetstone. Your whetstone's to sharpen stuff, I believe.
It doesn't show it in the book. That's so funny.
But then the vial is just the contents of something to be. You can buy a vial.
Put it in the vial.
Correct. And then a water skin is to put something in. You can put water in there. It holds 4 pints of liquid or a quart.
That's so funny that they don't have anything about them, though.
They don't have the vial. No, they don't. That's why I was just going right into it. That's
I was like, wait a minute, there's still 3. I'm like, stop, hold on.
There's fucking 3 things that they don't even say anything.
I'm like, we didn't even talk about water skin. Like, how are we gonna talk? How are we gonna talk about it comes inside the backpack if we haven't talked about it?
Because they all come with a water skin, so you don't die. Is what this is their way of saying don't die, dummy.
I get it. It's just like we didn't talk about the water skin. How are they gonna know what it is?
So then you've got your diplomat pack, which gives you a chest, 2 cases for maps and scrolls, a set of fine clothes, ink pen, lamp, 2 flasks of oil, 5 sheets of paper, a vial of perfume, sealing wax and soap. Not sealing like above me, but sealing to seal a letter. The Dungeoneer's pack, probably one of my favorites. Backpack, crowbar, hammer, 10 pitons, 10 torches, a tinderbox, 10 days of rations, and a water skin, plus 50 feet of rope. The Entertainer's pack, which is another fun one. Backpack, bedroll, 2 costumes, 5 candles, 5 days of rations, a water skin, and a disguise kit. Gives you a kit.
Before you go on, I'm looking at like the Diplomat's pack. It comes with a lamp.
Yes.
How do you light the lamp?
With the oil.
You can't light things with oil.
No. It doesn't give you a way because it assumes that you have servants to do that. Like you're a diplomat. Someone's going to do that for you.
It's so funny.
There are things that are missing that like kind of entertain me to these like
makes no sense.
You notice the all the ones that come with half the rations have other bullshit you don't need, and then like the diplomat's pack doesn't have a single piece of food.
You get the candles in the Entertainer's pack that you can't light.
Yeah. Yep.
You have to literally go buy a tinderbox to light all this stuff.
Yep. You get the Explorer's pack, or, you have teammates who you can use their stuff to light these fucking things for you, or a wizard who can just turn your candle on.
One of those nights like, man, it's real dark in here. Hey, guys, I got candles. Cool, let's light them up. I don't have anything to light them with.
You go to the party and you got a pack of smokes and no lighter. Yeah. What is up with you? It's the little things in them that have like the Explorer's pack is basically an army pack. You get a backpack, bedroll, mess kit, tinderbox, torches, food, water skin, rope. The Priest pack for your clerics or your paladins, backpack, blanket, 10 candles, a tinderbox, an alms box, 2 blocks of incense, a censer, vestments, 2 days of rations, and a water skin. It expects you to live off of other people's generosity without the food. And then you have the one weird thing in the Scholar's Pack that throws me off every time. A backpack, a book of lore, a bottle of ink, an ink pen, 10 sheets of parchment, a little bag of sand, and a small knife. Like,
is the bag of sand what throws you off?
No, because like it doesn't throw me off in a bad way. It throws me off in a good way because then I go, I have a literal trail of breadcrumbs that I could follow if I just poke it with a small knife. I can do one of those indie moments with a bag of sand. Like, I never thought a bag of sand could get my mind going to figure out what it could be. What I could do with it. I
figured you'd use it for like a paperweight. So like when you're writing in your Scholar's Pack, you put your sand on the top of the paper and doesn't go
and if
blow
you're writing
away.
Outside, you've got, if you're a monk with a Scholar's Pack, you got pocket sand, and throw it at him. If you're a wizard and you're in a dungeon, you immediately can go, okay, hang on, let me take out my small little cheese knife and then pop it and then figure out which way you went if things are moving around on you. Like, it's ingenuity with these little adventuring gears that you can go a long way with. So we've been running a long time. Do you want to talk about tools, or do you want to make that a whole episode? Because we still haven't touched them.
We could probably do tools for a whole episode.
Yeah, because there's only 1, 2, 6, 9 technical tools, but you can break it down into so many different ones, like the musical instruments, the artisan's tools. Kind of covers a vast area of things. Because as soon as you said the Xanathar thing, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot more to them than the just in the player's handbook.
They're more than just something that holds up inventory. That's the thing to remember. They're a way to make gold as opposed to drain gold.
And like I looked at my character and I don't have any tool proficiencies. So it's like I'm sad that I don't, but I'm pretty sure there's feats that you can take that give you proficiencies too in tools.
Skilled. The feat skilled, you can take 3 skills or a tool proficiency. That's
so if you're looking to get a tool proficiency, that's a good way to do it. Level 4 is probably a great time to take that because you could kind of go. I'm just thinking you can kind of go ahead with it and kind of like be like that. Kind of helps with the backstory stuff, I think.
It does. It depends because I know how important taking that extra bump to your strength or your dex if you're an attacker. Like if you've got a player who's like not proficient in cards and they're trying to go to bars and learn all the different games and they're not used to like playing role-playing games and like building on skills and then getting like free proficiencies like that, like you and your cooking proficiencies or like certain things like that, you could give those to players. Like you go to every town and you look for people playing chess to talk to them, but eventually you'd probably get good at chess.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like go and learn from someone if you want to learn a proficiency as well, because you could do an in-game instead of using your 4th level to lose those bumps. You might be able to role play learning that stuff as a proficiency. I don't know.
Like that. It's perfect because as we said in all the fucking character classes, if you have a nice DM or a cool DM, they will let you have a feat. But if you have a nice or a cool DM, they'll be willing to work with you to work on a feat for X amount of like months, maybe in game or out of game, to like get that proficiency in like that potter's tools or smithy's tools, so you don't have to
learning how to make your own arrows and Fletcher's tools.
Yeah.
Like I did as Tiago. I had to go. I met with the guy that made the arrows in the town, and I went and hung out with him once a week or every Sunday and like learned how to make my own arrows. That's take the time as in your character to figure something out, and sometimes your DM will reward you with it.
I'd like to think as the Rise of Tiamat closed, I'd like to think that Aesop got proficiency in cobbler's tools, so that way him and Talionix could have made Kung Shu.
Made their shoes stuff work.
Well, no, Kung Shu would like that sound like
Yeah.
like weaponry shoes. Yeah, that sounds dope. But yeah, that's creative.
Creative.
It's,
All right. Well, so what do we got going on?
all
I
right.
think that's
so,
it for the week, right? That's it for us.
So tomorrow, that's it for the episode. So instead of saying we'll talk about next week, we'll close with that. Like
Okay.
we like to, because we won't show our hand. We'll go down the river. So tomorrow there's nothing. Thursday there's nothing. If you need something to watch on those 2 days, I will be live on Wednesday. Thundercat may be live tomorrow.
I should be live tomorrow night.
Should be live tomorrow night. GM Patch Nasty, Thundercat 0420 at Twitch TV, all respectively. Friday. What time? What's going on Friday?
The War in Galaxia, episode 2, hosted by Vandal Zero. We will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. We had a great time last week. Once again, I am so excited to be playing D&D again and not DMing. I'm just happy to play.
If you see me in the camera looking around, like, that's not me being inattentive. That is me getting lost in my own thoughts and trying to stay in character. Just throw that out there, because I got a message. Someone was like, "You look thrilled." I was like, I was in character. I was kind of baked, but I was in character, and I get lost in my own thoughts. So I tried to stay that mentally aloof, and it's very hard to convey that with not being at a table with everyone. So I try to like do that as I'm in character.
I'm just having such a good time already. It was fun to see Tater and DD kind of come out of their shells a little bit as it went on. Some of the stuff that Vandal brought along is like seeing how the party kind of reacted as a team finally, like the sober token that made us a group. Like for like the 5-10 minutes that we were all pissed off together. Like it was a group effort. So it was nice to see that like we're already starting to come together as a team a little bit. Still not knowing how each other and how our characters are really approaching each other yet. So that was fun. So if you want to check that out, episode 1, we're gonna upload it Friday morning on our YouTube, Dysfunctional Gaming. Look for the squid.
Yes.
We will might put it up a little early on Thursday night. Who knows? I'm just so excited. I just want to get it up.
Just put it up tomorrow. Why not? Just do it. You know you want to.
We'll see. I gotta talk to DD. I don't want to put stuff on top of stuff.
If someone donates $10 to Extra Life right now, we'll shave a day off of releasing D&D on YouTube. So it will go up on Thursday as stated right now. If you donate 20, we'll put it up on Wednesday. It's up in the air. What were we doing on Saturday? $20
Saturday.
Extra Life.
Saturday team night.
Team night.
Hopefully, I'll be feeling better this week, and I'll be able to
Same
make
here. I was mentally dead to the world, and I didn't want to talk to anyone. It was rough. Sunday night.
I might be live again.
You might be live again. Okay. Hi, Disto.
Hi, Disto.
Disto, if you want to watch D&D, come out early. $20 to Extra Life. Just let you know. Kids can't wait. Neither can you to watch D&D.
So Friday we have episode 2 coming out with Vandal Zero as our DM. We will see myself, GM Patch Nasty, Dysfunctional Dad, Ossitator, and Beth all be playing again on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So
Everyone's got such long names, and then you got Beth.
that's it. Yeah. I'm probably gonna be live tomorrow night. You're probably gonna be live tomorrow afternoon.
What's going on Monday?
Oh, Monday, survival night. We're not doing Green Hell anymore. I have to erase that. Didn't erase that. We're playing the Forest this month. And last night we played with Disto.
In the forest.
It was fucking frightening for a bit.
That game's terrifying.
And then we had a lot of fun teaming up against the 47 armed man.
Nice. Have you guys gone into any caves yet?
Yes, we went into a cave at the end of the game last night, and I tried to cook a human head.
Nice. And then
it wasn't a human. It was a cannibal.
That's still a human, and that's making you a cannibal.
I didn't eat it. I just cooked it.
Well, that's wasteful.
I was just trying to make. I was trying to make a skull.
Were you gonna drink from the skull of your enemy?
No, you can make skull candles. But you need a clay flask of oil to burn.
I hate you.
That's what we did on Mondays. That's what we got coming up Monday. We're gonna keep playing the forest.
What do we got going on next week? What are we talking about for D&D next week?
D&D next week, we're gonna talk about random table generators.
We're gonna talk about
random tables, different ones, different ideas, homebrew. Booked.
Honestly, it's really not a it's not a DM exclusive thing because there are random tables in the player's handbook. So for your feats, not your feats, your backgrounds, they have some of those. So you'll get experience looking at them. But the DM one, it's pages. It's pages and pages and pages of numbers and items, or monsters, or encounters, or names, or things that you don't want to think of, and you can just roll dice and pull up on the fly.
So we're going to do our best to talk about all the different types and the different things that you can possibly put together and / use from different books and different D&D lore. So
yeah,
that's what we got next week. We're going to do some random table generators.
RNG tables. So if you... Yes.
Don't forget... We do have a Patreon. We will be loading a bunch of stuff up there eventually, more stuff that we have already. I have the first, I believe, 20 episode outlines for Talking D&D. We have the first Session 0 episode from the War for Garaxia, where you get to meet the party, you get to learn the homebrew rules, and you get to learn a little bit about the world that we're in. So if you want to get in on that stuff, check us out on Patreon, Dysfunctional Gaming.
Yes, it's in the little clicky doos and the linky doos. What are you playing this week?
I'm finishing Lost in Random tomorrow night.
Nice. What's funny you say that because I was also going to finish the game tomorrow night.
Yeah, so I made it all the way to the Queen's Castle, and now this is the final area, I believe. So it could be a 3-hour stream of Lost in Random. It could be a 30-minute stream of Lost in Random, and then moving on to another game.
Yep.
Who knows?
Yeah, nice. Who knows?
What are you playing tomorrow night?
Because I've been playing Ogre Battle off camera over the weekend, and I forgot how much I love that game, and I want that all for me. Sorry. I'm gonna beat Batman. I'm gonna get home, I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna fucking beat Batman because it's done in October, and I don't want to wait until Halloween to finish it because it happens on Halloween, and I was like, fuck that, I can't wait. I need to beat this goddamn game. And then I'm probably gonna start making the eventual switch into trying to play like just more like retroer games and keeping my PlayStation for stuff off stream. That's been a thought process I had over the weekend because I enjoy playing baseball in quiet. It's nice to be quiet.
I have one thing I want to say before we go on to the talking to Randy. I want to say I actually want to say thank you to the listeners because we hit over 550 plays on Hours podcast. So
Thank you.
we had over 40 listens this week. We had 50 2 weeks ago. So we're doing something, and I'm glad that we have people listening. I just wanted to say thanks to you guys.
For the people I know who listen to, Rob, thank you for listening. Griff, thank you for listening. Scott, I can't wait to see you on Thursday. I probably already saw you on Thursday, so this is another thank you for listening to the podcast and coming in and getting breakfast at the deli and chatting comics with me. It's a highlight of my morning on Thursdays. Thank you.
I know Ossitator says that he listens when he's at the gym every once in a while, trying to learn stuff for D&D, so thanks to him as well.
Ooh, yeah, get that rip there, Tater. You can do it right there. Okay.
Hi, TSO. Thanks, Disto. Thanks for the congrats.
Hi, TSO. What's up?
All right. Let's go talk to Randy because
I didn't see you there.
We already know who we're raiding over to. I'm going to put that in now.
Well, so since we had such a lovely experience and we came from the heart, there's another thing that comes from the heart. Do you know what that is, Thundercat?
What's that?
That'd be groove. Groove. It comes from the heart. It's also in the heart.
Is the groove in the heart?
Video. Yeah, we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance and we're gonna have some fun. Dig. Do a chill that you spill up my back. Keep it filled with satisfaction when we're done. Satisfaction of what to come. We couldn't ask for some others. No, we couldn't ask for some others. Your groove, I do deeply dig. No walls, only the bridge. My supper dish, my succotash whiz. Sing it, baby. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart. Astronomical. Groove is in the heart. Hit me. The depth of hula grooves moves us to the uns loop. We're gonna groove the hootin', here's a hoo-woo. I couldn't ask for another. DJ Soul was on a roll. I've been told he can't be told. He's not vicious or malicious, just lovely and delicious. I couldn't ask for another. Oh, some looks in this torso. Hot got a deal you wanna know. Delightfully, truly delightful. Making it, doing it, especially at a show. Feeling kind of high like a Hendrix haze. Music makes motion, moves, motion makes a maze. All inside of me. Hot especially. No other rhythm where I want to be. Flowing, glowing with electric eyes. You dip to the dive, baby. Realize.
All done.
Okay. All done?